Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. The rumor started the way these things always do in this city, with a quiet whisper that somehow echoed through every corner of the fanbase before the sun even had time to rise. Word is that ROSEMAN, always a step ahead and never afraid to play chess while everyone else plays checkers, lets slip a vision of an advanced reinforcement package aimed at 2026. That has people rubbing their hands together in anticipation. This is not being framed as a promise, not even as a plan set in stone, but more like a sketch on a napkin that somehow feels incredibly real. The idea floating around is bold, ambitious, and perfectly tailored to the identity the Eagles have been trying to build. A mix of raw power, elite athleticism, and star presence that changes how opponents prepare. When fans hear names like Myles Garrett and Terry McLaurin connected to this vision, even in speculative tones, the imagination runs wild. The suggestion is that ROSEMAN is already maneuvering pieces, studying contracts, future caps, and the emotional pulse of the locker room. In this kind of narrative, nothing is accidental. Every rumor is a breadcrumb, every silence a strategy. And the excitement comes from believing that the front office is thinking bigger than ever before. What makes this speculation feel different is the way it aligns with ROSEMAN's reputation for long-term thinking and surprise strikes. People close to the conversation suggest that the Eagles are not simply reacting to trends but actively trying to redefine their competitive window. The possible arrival of a defensive force like Myles Garrett is whispered as a statement move, the kind that tells the league you are serious about dominating the line of scrimmage for years. Pair that with the elegance and explosiveness of Terry McLaurin on offense, and suddenly the roster feels like it could tilt the field in multiple dimensions. The rumor paints a picture of balance, of a team that can suffocate opponents on one side of the ball and stretch them thin on the other. Fans imagine the creativity this would unlock, the play designs, the mismatches, the constant pressure. It is not about one game or one season, but about building an aura. ROSEMAN, in this telling, is not chasing headlines but crafting a legacy move, one that will be debated long before it ever becomes real, feeding the passion of a fanbase that thrives on big ideas. As the story circulates, the tone among supporters shifts from cautious curiosity to full-blown daydreaming. In bars, group chats, and comment sections, people start connecting dots that may or may not exist, but feel logical in the moment. They talk about how Myles Garrett's relentless motor could elevate everyone around him, how his presence alone forces offenses to adjust protections and abandon comfort. Then the conversation swings to Terry McLaurin, a receiver respected across the league for his precision, toughness, and quiet confidence. The rumor suggests a perfect cultural fit, a player who shows up, works, and delivers without demanding the spotlight, yet still commands it when the ball is in the air. In the imagined future, these additions are not isolated stars, but puzzle pieces that complete something larger. ROSEMAN's supposed leak becomes a kind of emotional contract with the fans, a promise that the organization is not content with good enough. Even skeptics admit that if there is one executive capable of pulling off something this daring, it is the one currently holding the keys in Philadelphia. There is also an undercurrent to this rumor that speaks to timing and patience, themes ROSEMAN has preached before. The advanced package for 2026 is framed as a horizon, not an immediate splash, which gives the idea a strange credibility. It suggests groundwork being laid quietly, relationships being nurtured, flexibility being preserved in this version of events. ROSEMAN is watching the league's shifting landscape, understanding when windows open and close, and positioning the Eagles to strike when others hesitate. The speculation hints at a front office that sees beyond the next draft or free agency cycle, one that is willing to endure short-term noise for long-term gain. Fans interpret this as maturity, as evolution. The potential of adding elite talent like Garrett and McLaurin becomes symbolic of a broader philosophy, one that values impact players who change the geometry of the game. Even without confirmation, the rumor energizes the community, reminding everyone that ambition still lives at the core of the franchise. Critics, of course, urge restraint, and their voices are part of the narrative too. They warn about cap gymnastics, about the cost of stars, about the risk of chasing names instead of cohesion. Yet even these cautionary takes seem to fuel the discussion rather than dampen it. The idea that ROSEMAN could be plotting something so audacious sparks debates about value, team building, and identity. Supporters counter that elite players create their own value. that stars raise floors and ceilings simultaneously in this speculative universe. Myles Garrett is not just a defender but a tone setter. While Terry McLaurin is not just a target but a security blanket, the rumor thrives because it taps into both logic and emotion. Offering just enough plausibility to feel real, it becomes a shared story. One retold with slight variations, each time adding new layers of excitement and possibility. By the time the rumor reaches full volume, it is no longer just about potential signings, but about belief that the Eagles are thinking boldly, that the future is being shaped with intention, and that ROSEMAN is still capable of surprising everyone. The supposed leak about an advanced reinforcement package acts like a spark, reigniting the fanbase's trust and long-term vision. Whether or not Myles Garrett and Terry McLaurin ever wear midnight green becomes almost secondary to what their names represent in this context. They symbolize excellence, ambition, and a refusal to settle in the echo chamber of speculation. Fans allow themselves to dream a little bigger, to imagine a team that is feared, respected, and endlessly fascinating. And in a city that lives and breathes football, that kind of rumor is powerful fuel. The second wave of this speculation dives even deeper, shifting from excitement to analysis. As if fans are trying to reverse engineer ROSEMAN's mind, people start asking how such a package could even be structured, what sacrifices might be necessary, and which current pieces would be untouchable in a vision like this. The narrative evolves into something more intricate, almost cinematic, where every move today is seen as a setup for a reveal tomorrow. In this telling, ROSEMAN is patient, almost quiet, letting others chase short-term satisfaction while he lines up a future that feels inevitable. The inclusion of Myles Garrett in these whispers carries weight because of what he represents across the league. A defender who commands respect the moment he steps on the field. Pairing that idea with Terry McLaurin adds symmetry, an offensive counterpart who wins with intelligence as much as athleticism. Together, they form a theoretical backbone for a roster that could intimidate and inspire at the same time. As fans continue to speculate, the conversation naturally drifts toward culture and leadership. There is a sense that this rumored plan is not just about talent acquisition, but about reinforcing standards. Myles Garrett is often described as relentless, a player whose preparation matches his physical gifts. Terry McLaurin is spoken of in similar terms, praised for professionalism and consistency in the imagined locker room of 2026. These traits blend with the existing core, creating a group that holds itself accountable without needing speeches. Supporters latch onto this idea because it aligns with what they want their team to represent. The rumor suggests that ROSEMAN values character as much as highlight reels, that the advanced package is designed to sustain success rather than chase fleeting glory. This angle gives the speculation emotional depth, turning it into more than just a shopping list of stars. The YouTuber-style chatter around this rumor adds another layer, amplifying every detail and reading between every line. People analyze ROSEMAN's past comments, his body language in interviews, even his silences, searching for confirmation. Every unrelated move is framed as part of the larger puzzle, every contract decision as a clue. The possible arrival of Terry McLaurin is discussed in terms of scheme fit, chemistry, and how his presence could unlock other players. Myles Garrett's hypothetical impact is debated through imagined matchups and playoff scenarios, even without mentioning outcomes. The rumor feeds content endlessly because it invites creativity. It becomes a sandbox where fans and creators alike can build narratives, test theories, and share excitement, all while acknowledging that none of it is guaranteed. What keeps this speculation alive is the sense that it feels very on brand. ROSEMAN has built a reputation on bold swings and calculated risks, and this rumored advanced package fits that pattern perfectly. It is not reckless, at least not in the way it is being framed, but daring in a controlled, strategic sense. The idea of planning so far ahead speaks to confidence and stability within the organization. Fans interpret this as a sign that the Eagles believe in their foundation, that they are not scrambling but orchestrating. The mention of 2026 becomes symbolic of patience, of trusting a process that may not reveal itself immediately. In that patience, supporters find reassurance, believing that the best is not behind them, but being carefully prepared. Skeptics continue to point out the volatility of the league, how quickly circumstances change. But even they admit that dreaming is part of the experience. The rumor offers an escape from uncertainty, a narrative where everything lines up just right. In this story, Myles Garrett terrorizes opposing offenses while Terry McLaurin glides through secondaries. And the Eagles stand as a model franchise, whether realistic or not. The speculation provides a shared language for hope. It gives fans something to talk about, to debate, to believe in during the long stretches without action. That emotional engagement is invaluable. And ROSEMAN, intentionally or not, seems to have tapped into it once again. In the end, this entire rumor functions like a mirror, reflecting what the fanbase wants to see. It is less about confirmed plans and more about collective imagination. The leaked vision of an advanced reinforcement package for 2026, anchored by names like Myles Garrett and Terry McLaurin, becomes a symbol of ambition. It reminds everyone why they pay attention so closely, why every hint matters, until reality either confirms or denies it. The speculation will live on, growing with every retelling, and for now, that is enough to keep the excitement burning, the conversations flowing, and the belief alive that something special could be on the horizon. FlyEaglesFly News. Family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. The rumor refuses to slow down, and as it stretches further, it starts to feel like a long conversation that never really ends. Just changes tone. Now the speculation leans into how this supposed advanced reinforcement vision could reshape how the Eagles are perceived league-wide. Fans imagine a future where opposing teams circle matchups against Philadelphia with extra caution. Not fear exactly, but respect mixed with anxiety. The idea of Myles Garrett anchoring the defensive identity is talked about as if it would instantly redefine the team's personality, making every snap feel heavier for opponents. At the same time, Terry McLaurin is framed as the kind of offensive presence that quietly erodes confidence. The receiver who keeps chains moving and forces defenses to stay honest. In this rumor-driven narrative, ROSEMAN is not just assembling talent, but crafting a psychological edge. Supporters speculate that this is the next evolution of team building, where star power and mental pressure blend together, even without any official word. The fanbase treats this vision as a possibility worth investing in emotionally, because it aligns with the hunger to stay relevant and dangerous year after year. Another angle gaining traction in these conversations is how such a move could influence younger players and future acquisitions. The rumor paints a picture where elite talent attracts more elite talent, creating a gravitational pull that benefits the entire organization. Fans talk about how rookies would walk into a locker room already defined by high standards, where learning happens fast because expectations are clear. In this imagined scenario, Myles Garrett sets the tone through intensity and preparation, while Terry McLaurin reinforces professionalism and consistency on the other side of the ball. ROSEMAN's supposed long-term plan is discussed as if it were a masterclass in sustainability, not relying on luck but on environment. The speculation becomes almost philosophical, debating whether culture can be engineered through strategic signings. Supporters argue that if any front office could pull that off, it would be one willing to think years ahead and accept criticism along the way. The rumor grows richer because it invites these deeper reflections, making it feel less like gossip and more like a blueprint. As the buzz continues, the emotional payoff becomes clear, regardless of the outcome. This rumor has given fans permission to dream loudly, to imagine an Eagles team that blends star appeal with discipline and vision. It fills the quiet moments with anticipation and gives content creators endless material to dissect and dramatize. In this extended narrative, ROSEMAN is almost mythologized, portrayed as a strategist operating on a different timeline than everyone else. Myles Garrett and Terry McLaurin, whether they ever arrive or not, become symbols of what the fanbase craves: dominance, elegance, and long-term ambition. The speculation will eventually face reality, as all rumors do, but until then it serves its purpose. It keeps the conversation alive, the passion burning, and the belief strong that the future is being shaped with intent. And for a fanbase that lives on hope as much as history, that feeling is powerful enough to sustain the hype all on its own. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.